Welcome to another edition of Show After Show. I am Rob Dempsey. We continue to get to know the people that make this community so great. Dr. Leon Buffaloe Jr. is one of them from Grace Internal Medicine, who, what I understand, and I need to know if this is still a thing for you, Dr. Buffalo. Do your siblings still call you Pleasy Butt?
Oh my, I can't believe you led with that one. Every now and then they will say that. Not my oldest sister, but the one 2 years younger than her. She'll say, you're still a pleasy butt.
You're the
Yes.
youngest of four, so I can see why she would say that.
Yes, I am. Yes.
You were born in D.C., and I understand your dad had a very unique position with the ATF.
Well, I don't know if it was unique, but he was the supervisor in the mailroom department.
Yeah, he made sure all that mail got to the right people
Yes.
all the
Yeah.
time, and that he had the right people to actually do that, which is a very important job. When you're talking
No.
ATF, that's important.
Yes. It was a very fun place to visit as a child.
Oh, I can imagine.
Mhm.
Some of the things. And plus, your mom was the secretary of the Smithsonian in D.C., so you had the best of both worlds.
Yes, I did. Often every year in school, we would go and visit the Smithsonian and the Air and Space Museum as a field trip. And there was this secret door that no one really knew about. And I wouldn't call it a secret, but I knew where it was. And it led to this underground area. And it would always lead to where my mom was working. And I would show up sometimes at her desk and she would look and say, "Oh, you must be on a field trip. Get back to your class." Yeah, but that was just walking around as a child, as a small child, looking up and seeing all of those exhibits. And it was just a really good childhood experience being able to see that on a regular.
It sounds like it, because when I go and visit, I'm like, this is absolutely amazing. But to live there and
Fascinating.
experience a lot, oh, that is so great. I heard that you didn't really know that, and you call it, I didn't know I was messed up until I was like older in life.
Oh, well, yeah. You mean my childhood upbringing?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, my mom did a great job at making life normal for us. My dad, he did struggle with some addiction with alcohol, and so pretty much my entire life, I dealt with that, and it was something that she just had a way of just making it all normal. Even though we were being raised in a time in the 80s where drugs were starting to really plague the area where I live in Prince George's County. In Forestville, Maryland. I had friends all around me. Everyone was involved in that. To hear of someone passing away or dying from some sort of drug-related incident, whether they were swallowing drugs to evade getting arrested from the police, or someone getting shot over some a jacket or some shoes, that was just really normal every day. A guy was shot just in the middle of us changing classes. He was shot because he would not give up his hoodie. He had some sort of coat with the hood on it. And that was just normal for me in high school, and I really didn't notice that. I said, man, I had a pretty rough childhood, and a pretty rough upbringing in an area. But my mom was a big believer in the church. So on Sundays, we were going to be in church. On Wednesdays, we were going to be in church. On Fridays, youth night, she would try to make me go to church. And so I've always had sort of that protection. I believe I know God was looking out for me throughout all those years. I have friends today that are still in jail from something they did in the 90s. And I have friends that are in the grave because of what happened during that period. So it was rough, and looking back on it. And I think I first noticed it when I was in college, and I was in a sociology class, and they were talking about what a family unit looks like. And I was like, man, I can't say that I had that, So, but she was very good at making us feel like life was normal.
Do you think that's why you went into the Army, to be Army combat medic?
Well, I went into the Army because my mom said, you're getting out of Forestville, Maryland. And I knew that I wasn't going to college. That wasn't really an option. And so she put me in these military type programs. I was in the Navy Lead Cadets when I was in middle school. I joined JROTC when I was in high school. And I had a sister, she was already in the military. And so that was just my plight. I pretty much knew that I was going to do that. Now, as far as choosing a job as a medical specialist, my mom had a heavy hand in that. She always wanted to be in the medical field. She always talked about her days working as a certified nursing assistant and how she always wanted to become a nurse. So when they offered me this job of medical specialist, they didn't say combat specialist, they said medical specialist. And I said, that sounds interesting. My mom always wanted to go into that field. And so I chose that specialty and signed up. It wasn't until I signed up that they started to say combat medic. And I told my recruiter, I said, well, I really don't want to go to combat. This was 1989. And he said, oh, we haven't had a war in 20 years. Vietnam was in the 60s. You can do 20 years and never see a war. And I said, well, okay, maybe that's right. And then, of course, Desert Storm happened that next year. And I'm still looking for that recruiter.
Yeah, because you went right into the heat of battle. Well,
Yes.
Fast forward to today, and college came later in life. You're now in this practice of Grace Internal Medicine. I know you get a lot of questions about COVID vaccinations and prevention. A lot now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm getting questions just about every day. And I'm questioning my patients mainly to just sort of ensure that they understand the vaccinations, find out its availability. There's a great website called Vax Locator. That's vaxlocator.vhec.sc.gov. I just went on this website last night and I got my mother-in-law scheduled for a shot. I just put in our zip code and found a vax location within 2 miles, and she was able to get scheduled on Wednesday. So that's a great website. But yes, I mean, the COVID-19 vaccination, these vaccines have been studied. They are very effective at preventing or keeping us from getting COVID-19. And they're also very effective at keeping us from getting seriously ill if we do get the COVID-19 virus. And it's really the most important tool that we have to help us to get back to some sort of normalcy. And speaking of normalcy, the CDC, they're releasing guidelines just about every week about what you can do if you're fully vaccinated. Like if you're fully vaccinated and you're in a room with someone that's fully vaccinated, then you don't have to wear your mask. If you're fully vaccinated and you come in contact with someone that may have COVID-19 or symptoms of COVID-19, before you would have to go into quarantine, you would have to be tested, and you would have to stay in quarantine until you got your results back. Now you don't have to do that if you're fully vaccinated. So I do recommend that if you have more questions about that, you go to the CDC's website. They have some very interesting things about the benefits of being vaccinated and what you can do if you're fully vaccinated.
Yeah, we'll make sure that we have that link available for you right here on Show After the Show page, so you can click right through that. Plus, get through to Grace Internal Medicine with Dr. Leon Buffaloe Jr. I'm grateful for the time today and clearing up some of those things about COVID-19. You covered a lot for us.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll see you for another edition coming up soon for Show After the Show. Thanks for watching.